Welcome, my sweet, sweet self. Welcome to I Am Changing the Channel. Let's begin with a few centering breaths just to brighten our awareness, which is the self, which is the I am, which is God. So let's bring everything here and now into the only thing that exists, the present moment. Leave the past behind. Leave any future projections. And get very cozy with the breath, with your body, with this. So, friends, thank you so much for your contribution to the expansion of human consciousness. I really, really appreciate you and your contribution. Thank you. So we co-created this today, and that's so beautiful. But let's first begin about how we shift dimensions and who you really are and what this really is. So you and I are the I am. We cannot be divided. We are a single source, a single entity. But for the sake of creation, for the sake of evolution and play, the drama, we appear as two-ness. Now we need to understand that you can only see the contents of your own consciousness. That means who you think you are, who you think I am, your beliefs. So that's how we get shrouded. How we drop frequency is through our beliefs. You may think I'm Anna, you may think you're you, and then we go into this division. Yeah, she knows more than me, she has more, blah, blah, blah. No separation. But you really are God, and you're here to wake up to that and start transforming your energy body, start transforming your emotional body so that you can anchor more of your light and your wisdom, which will be transmitted through the body's prism and will give you the experience of a more heavenly reality. We call that the awakening, the ascension, evolution, but you're the master. You're also the slave. Sometimes we switch roles. But I just want to let you know that everything is coming out of you. Just like a spider's web comes out of the spider, your creation is coming out of you. So we are the reaper and we are the sower. We do plant seeds. Sometimes we plant those seeds in our unconsciousness, and then we see our harvest and we go, who did this? Why would this happen? Who would create this? Well, we did in our sleepiness. And that's why we must remember there's only one I am, there's only awareness, there's only a light here, and you are that. So step one is I'm aware that I'm aware. Detached observation. This way you can step out of your hologram, step out of your current web, and realize the faceless and the formless seer. And it is always here, always here. But when we forget ourselves as the light of awareness, we fall asleep in our projection and then start blaming and shaming. But it was us. It was us. We chose to be here. We chose to lower our vibration and enter the human consciousness of Gaia. This was by choice. Now we must choose to ascend or wake back up to awareness and activate the heart center. The heart space really is the space of unity consciousness. It's love, it's creativity, it's unity. It's how we move out of duality. And this takes some disciplining. This takes some practice because your body's holding beliefs and programmings that makes it go all over the place. But now we guide the body consciously. Now we program the body consciously. We plant seeds of faith, love, optimism, prosperity, abundance, jubilance, glee, community. Just like we planted seeds of, well, duality, poverty, competition, not enough. You see? So we have to flip the script, and that's right now. Because right now is where all of your power is. The past is dead. The future is not fully created, if you will. You're deciding right now with your vibration and your level of awareness. That's why we meditate, friends. So we can really broaden awareness. Without awareness, we have no agency. Without awareness, we have no flexibility. We literally feel like a clunky, dense human, super separate. So that's why we begin with awareness and presence. So you can recognize yourself. And this is highly intuitive. It's not a thought form. When the self wakes up to itself, when awareness wakes up to itself, it's intuitive. It's a no mind discovery. So you're the knower. You're the one who knows your name tag. You're the absolute consciousness. And that's why when you're really resting as the I am, the timeless seer, thoughts slow down. There's just crystal clear seeing, crystal clear perception of understanding me and my world are one. I am all. And that's really a felt sense. So we have to learn to really get into the body, not push the body away. This is your prism. This is your wand. This is your vehicle for expression and expansion. That's why we love it. We adore it. And we see it as a temple for the living spirit. If you hate yourself, you bully yourself, you don't compliment yourself, you judge yourself, well, you're judging God. When you judge another, you're actually judging yourself. When you judge yourself, you're judging another. Do you see? It all comes back to you. And that's why we get to a certain point in our journey where we realize, okay, I'm done with all of the blaming, the done seeking. I'm going to discipline myself to raise my vibration and be very present here and now. It's a lifestyle. It's a new way of being. It's a resurrection of consciousness that you have to choose. If you don't choose this, no problem, but you're going to drop frequency and you're going to go back to the pre-programming of your avatar. Ancestral lineage, the asleep Gaia. And that's no fun. We got to be straight about that. It is not fun when we forget ourselves as source. So that's why we're here today, to uplift, to rise, to remember, because that's all awakening is I'm remembering who and what I really am. Not being bound by others' opinions, not being bound by an unconscious, sick society, but I will choose how I will live, how I will show up through that frequency of radiance and absolute love to source's self. So that's why I'm here today serving you in the highest, because you're God. This is sacred. You're beautiful. And as I treat you in the highest light, I'm treating myself in the highest light. And because the subconscious is always listening, when I treat you in this highest respect and truth, it starts to come out of your body. Something starts to wake up in the cells of you that remembers, that knows, because I see you, the real you, no mask, unfiltered, raw, pure potential. I am. And that's what we're all looking for. See me as I am, hold me as I am, so that I can actually elicit that beautiful light that is timelessly here. But when we forget ourselves and we hang around teachers or books that don't know who they are, we get compounded into confusion. I am lost. I do need to heal tons of stuff. I am broken. I really do have a mom and a dad. And that's how we get lost and entangled into lower dimensions. And that's why it's so clear for you to be clear and to surround yourself with clear teachers, clear guidance, even if that clear teacher is a tree, is a bumblebee. Okay? But at the end of the day, you're the guru. There is something inside of you that knows exactly what you need when you need to do it. That's why you got to trust your intuition, and you got to claim yourself as God, claim yourself as Christ, but also claim everyone else. This isn't arrogance. This is reality with a capital R. It just seems like arrogance and highly taboo because we descended into a planetary consciousness that hasn't fully awakened yet. There's other planetary consciousnesses where we're totally Christed. We know who we are. We're co-creating out of love and unity, not violence and competition and greed. Yeah, but I get it when we descend here and we come into the suit and the vibration. It's like, oh yeah, I just go along with all of it. No, you came to change all of it. You came to bring and seed your light. That's how we co-create a new reality, a new earth, a new human. So friends, everything around you is you. It's all your body. So we have to eliminate the idea that there's a separate world outside of your consciousness, outside of your mind, outside of your emotional body. It's one moving energetic. That's why we got to be so aware of our moods, so aware of those thoughts that come through. And not just be aware, but to move away from thoughts, imaginings, and emotions that are not serving us. And this is where we have to dispel some teachings of like shadow work and inner child healing. And I need to go back to the past and heal everything. But what past? You're already perfect as the timeless I am. And this is how we quantum leap. This is how we really have drastic evolutionary experiences, because you're not opening Pandora's box. You're realizing you're already perfect as the seer. And this is paradoxical, I get it, because the body's always going to display some kind of weird flaw, or the dream of Leela is always going to appear as some kind of flaw or drama. But that's why you rest as awareness. That's why you observe. So you can still be in the immaculate epicenter, but play as your avatar, as the drama that appears, the predicament, whatever's going on. You're still rooted in the timeless I am, yet playing, changing, shifting, stepping in as Christ, stepping in as an awakened individual, expression of God. But we cannot forget our roots in the timeless. If we forget our roots in the timeless, oh Lord, we're going to have a little bit of a nightmare, because this is a dream. Yeah. And that's okay. You're safe. I want you to know that you're immortal and you're eternal. So no matter how hellish it seems to appear, you cannot die. Death is an illusion. We're taught in the human experience. Yeah? It's not real, though. So what we call a death is just another beginning. There really is no end. And this is why you start to get real comfortable as presence and awareness. You're not just so attached to all your goals, your physique, your individuality, all of these things that seem to appear out here that are fleeting, because all of that is fleeting. What's not fleeting? And we have to realize there's something here that doesn't move, that doesn't change. That's how you can register change. Just like you can read a book that has the black ink, but you couldn't see the black ink if there wasn't the white piece of paper behind it. What I'm pointing to at the I am is that white piece of paper. Always here, but we don't really notice it because we're too busy looking at the words. But they are one. You cannot separate them. We just need to get to that invisible part of us, awareness. And when we're awake, we're living more in the invisible, living more in the inner reality of imagination and feeling. Because what you see out here, old news. It's just an echo. So if it's a little cranky, it's a little murky, no big deal. You can shift it. It's okay. But you got to be aware. And you have to understand your emotions are highly magnetic. Hence the heart chakra, hence gratitude, hence love, hence raising the body's vibration. Because if this is a prism that you, the timeless seer, is peering through, if we're depressed, if we're hating on ourselves and our neighbors, your world's going to be nothing but muck, mud. And then we think, hey, you go change, everyone out there needs to change. Mm-mm. The only one who has to change is you. And it's really just waking up to the clarity of awareness, of presence, so that you can guide your avatar, guide the thoughts, guide the emotions. We don't want them guiding us. If we got thoughts and emotions guiding us, well, that's what I call hell. But we want to steer them, kind of like you steer a horse, right? And eventually it's weird when you start riding a horse. It's like you get bucked up. It's like, good God, this thing is wild. Your mind, right? The programming, the appetite. But then you get back on the saddle and you build that trust. Hence why you got to love your body. You got to love the mind. You got to love the fucking avatar because this is all divine. You say no thank you to mind. You say no thank you to the body. Well, guess what? It's going to shun you. You won't have a full integration. You won't have a full merger, as above, so below. And that's what this is about. You got to create that merger of your more expanded consciousness with this finite apparatus. So that's why we love the body. And we also practice getting on the horse of awareness, of mind, of body, and learning to steer it and guide it with love. And trust, not pushing, not forcing, not bullying. Just like you would be training an animal. Do we push and bully an animal we're trying to train? No. I mean, negative reinforcement we know can work, but it's not long lasting. Positive reinforcement, compliments, praise, loving the body, loving the mind, loving the avatar so that it relaxes and comes under your command, just like a horse, just like a dog. Same thing, because your body has animalistic traits, yeah? It does. Let's not lie. So we guide it with that love so it really trusts you and you can start being the guardian to the body and the mind. And that's what it really wants. The mind can't run the show on its own. The body can't run the show. That's why it's an anxiety and fear. Okay. You, the seer, have to be here. And then there's an opening. And then there's a return of joy and spontaneity and fearlessness. Because you're no longer just hiding inside of the body, believing you're separate. You've snapped out of the shell and realize you're far greater than the body, but you are also this for a short time. And while we have this avatar for a short time, let's infuse it with love. Let's infuse it with our wisdom. Let's infuse it with light. And that is through the opening of our heart space. And this is a skill. Okay, so we got to get rid of these ideas that it's for some and not others. No, it's just like tying your shoe. And I want to encourage us into that. Instead of us thinking, oh, it's only for these certain people. Oh, I have too much karma. No, drop all of those beliefs unless you want to play in that arena. Because you are God, you can play in the arena that you're sinful, you have too much karma, your past lives were just too fucked up. No, drop all of those stories and realize you are immaculate right now. Free yourself from all of these ideas and concepts. And you decide what you want to believe. That's true freedom. That's sovereignty. And that's what we're stepping into. That's what we're being asked to step into. But do we have the focus and the concentration? Of course. Of course you do. You're infinite. You're a badass. But we just have to know we got to get the body on board with us. So if you're not meditating, begin meditation. And if you don't know how, we're going to do a really lengthy one at the end of this gathering today. So no worries. But friends, there's many ways of how to raise your vibration, open the heart space, but we do have to begin with awareness. So check in with yourself right now. Are you conscious that you're conscious? Are you aware that you're aware? Just notice. Because just with that little observation, mind can start to quiet down and the field opens for you to receive more. And that's all this is. You're just receiving more of your light. Creation's done. That's why it's all about a clear intention and opening your heart space. I know we've been taught time's linear. It's not. Your memory makes you think time's linear. Hence why we step out of the past and we keep dying to the present moment. Now, I'll tell you, since the external is your current channel, this is like a massive TV, and you're the antenna and the remote, you just got to decide where you want to play. Okay. And we need to know that the higher dimensions, the new earth, the new human is operating through the frequency of love and creativity and unity. You know thyself. You're treating your brothers and sisters with that respect that they are also Christ. You're not here to save anybody in the sense of like lowering your vibe to clean everyone's mess up. No, we're here to be honest. We're here to embody our light and remind our brothers and sisters through our own transparency, through our own frequency, that we are this. But hey, you brothers and sisters, you got to go home and sit with your own heart. And I think that's the hardest part for folks is there's this idea that it's just going to be bippity boppity boo. Someone's just going to come down and bop you on the head with it. No, those are called Satori moments. And they are gifted to you from the deeper self. But what do you do with those openings, those awakenings? Because really they're just breadcrumbs from the more expanded part of you to get disciplined, to get clear, to get in alignment. So every thought we think, every emotion we are feeling into and aware of is like weaving a reality. That's why this is done through repetition. So maybe your old narrative was, I'm not awake. I've got lots of karma. I'm in poverty. I can't ever get this right. Everything's really hard. It sucks. I've got diseases. I'm sick all the time. Blah, 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 right? And you created that in your unconsciousness. It's okay. There was not the awareness there to catch it. But now that we're talking about the awareness, you can catch your narrative and go, is this something I want to create for myself and the human species? And we all have a choice. I know you're going to feel the pull of the hormones. You're going to feel the pull of adrenaline and cortisol and all of those things that keep you in a negative narrative. But you got to realize that you can change your thoughts and emotions into very, very high vibrational octaves, which are going to make you feel really good, like blissed out, joyful, creative, selfless, happy. But we have to realize that when you think a thought, it releases chemicals. And then there's also a corresponding emotion with that. And the more you're going through that loop cycle, you're compounding it into the subconscious. And then we're out picturing it as little people, places, and things. It looks separate, looks like Janet's over there, looks like Billy Bob's over there. No, those are actual thought forms and emotions pushed out for you to see your inner reality. Again, hence observation. Because when you're observing and you're detached, you're not going to be so quick to go into violence or competition or the blame or the entanglement with the appearance, with your mind, with the belief. So we relax, we detach, realize, okay, this is an old programming, an old belief, an old idea. That's me over there. That's me over there. That's me right here. All of this right here is me. And that's what we start training our avatar into. Every sound, every human that appears, which is really God in disguise, that's me, or that's God, that's self. And you train yourself into that so the subconscious really starts to take the seed of unity and oneness instead of what we were taught when we were kids: separation, 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 separation. But this is exciting. This is very exciting news to know that you're the creator, that you can transform this. So we give thanks, we give praise, no matter what we're seeing, because you will be tempted, you will be tested, so to speak, by your own consciousness. So even when the appearance comes in all crusty, it comes in, I can't pay this, or I don't feel free in this arena. We raise the body's vibration back into no, I am free. We feel that vibration and we expand our aura wider, wider, wider so that it collapses the external to meet the internal. And that's how you change channels. That's how we change anything, is through our own vibration. And vibration is what we're thinking and what we're feeling. Hence, again, awareness. So every day can be heaven. Every day can be a honeymoon. That's pretty cool, right? That's really fucking cool. Uh, but we have to be very clear and vigilant. And we got to surround ourselves with high vibe, because there are so many mixed bags within this beautiful multidimensional earth of those who are totally just stone cold out, right? And then we have a mixed array of, we're waking up, oh yeah, okay, we're coming to, and then kind of go back out, coming to, come back out. And then we have those who are fully awake. So there's a spectrum here of consciousness and awakening, but there's no judgment or hierarchy in the sense of anyone's better. It's just like a garden. Some seeds bust right open as soon as spring hits the floor, right? And then others come in a little later. So what? So what? It's all God's garden, but we need to make sure we're watering and we are shining the sun on all seeds. That doesn't mean we waste our time on a seed that's laying on the asphalt, right? Watering on the asphalt. Come on, grow, grow, grow. Talking about a human who's not ready for this. And you'll meet them, and that's okay. You bless them, you love them, you move on. But you've got to know what's ready and what's not. And that's discernment. And your discernment is going to click online more and more. You realize you're God, that you are Christ, and you're meditating and deepening more into the timeless roots. There's massive amounts of collectives that go on here. Consciousness appears as everything, from conspiracy theories to God, I'm just opening my heart and being devotional, to, I'm blaming and creating war. There is a spectrum. But what collective do you want to play in? And that's your freedom of choice, your freedom of awareness. Just like when you turn on your TV, do you always go to the hellish ones? the channels, the shitty shows, the drama. No. Yeah, I'm gonna go hit my favorite one, the comedy or the romance. And I want you to know you can do that with your day-to-day life. But you're the remote. You're the antenna. You must align your thoughts and your emotions with what you want to see over and over again until it becomes very natural and a way of being. Just like you naturally listen to your name. When someone calls Eva or Gary or Adrian, you turn your head, right? Hey, what's up? Yep. Because it's embodied. Because it's embodied. You don't have to think about like who's Anna? What? You just turn. That's called embodiment. So that's why you have to meditate in some formation, right? Like right now, I'm meditating with you. I'm aware that I'm aware. That's meditation. But we have to embody these higher frequencies. And that is through repetition, just like we learned our name, just like we learned how to tie our shoes. Okay? And just like we learned how to tie our shoes or our name, there was some stumbling. So you need to prepare for that. In a sense, there'll be like a weird liminal period where you're learning and you're embodying, you're practicing, and there's maybe a little back and forth. So what? So what? Remember the timeless I am. The body's just getting up to speed with your very high vibration. Let's really see it that way. The body is catching up to your expansion. The body is catching up to your immaculate frequency. So sure, it may kind of rise up. Whoa, whoo, how do I hold that light? That's a lot, yo. Because the nervous system is what's transmitting the light. It's holding the light. And that's why, you got to work with your body because it can kind of fry it a little bit. Self-love, self-care, so we can anchor this light and not be a yo-yo with it, Okay. So just realize the body's playing catch up to you. You're already high vibe as the timeless and extremely expanded. Oh, my friends. God, creator, master, here to serve you today in your highest light. That's a good intro for what we're going to dance with today. If you have any questions, I do highly encourage you to mute yourself. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to, but it's just the most seamless interaction when I can hear your voice and we can ping pong back and forth. I'm also on my iPhone, and for some reason the chat box gets tilted when I go into landscape. So I have to turn my head like this. So if you do use the chat box, keep it short, simple, and concise. Otherwise, come on, let's exercise the throat chakra, and let's talk, because it's just you talking to you anyway, honey. So if you have any questions, I'm here to serve you in the highest. Hey, Neil.
Hi. Hi, Anna.
Hi. Hi.
I just wanted to say to anyone else that uh, a few months ago I had a one-to-one session with Anna, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. I think we've all watched your videos, but there's nothing more powerful than being present to each other in real time, which is
Yeah.
why today is wonderful as well. So it's wonderful to see you again.
You too,
Um,
brother.
Thank you. It's not an individual question, it's a slightly macrocosm question. I just
Mhm.
wondered, as a teacher, um, your opinion on the whole idea you talked about people being asleep and being unconscious,
Mhm.
that if it's our natural being, our
Mhm.
light within us, which is timeless and always there,
Mhm.
that we're in a world where basically there's a mass unconsciousness, and there's some of us who are peeking out of the little egg that you're talking about and looking around, and we
Yeah.
have a taste of the honey and so on. But it
Yeah.
seems to be more of the exception, and the default seems to be mass unconsciousness. So
Mhm.
from a bigger picture as a teacher,
Mhm.
why 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 is it so skewed towards mass unconsciousness? And then
Yeah.
and even those of us have a taste of it, why
Mhm.
do we resist it too much if it's natural to us?
Well, because you descended into the planetary consciousness of Gaia, and we're currently in the Kali Yuga, which is the hardest time to awaken. There's supposed to be a lot of turmoil and travesty and distractions. And I mean, look, we have tons of technology. We have so much access to each other, but it's also like a double-edged sword. Tons of distractions, tons of little confusing things, unclear teachers, clear teachers, and then we get kind of skewed. So just know it's the planetary consciousness that we're in, but we chose this. Like you are so powerful in your light. You're like, yes, Gaia, let's go. Let's go. And then you forget, you come into the avatar, into the genome, and you're like, I am this. It's so dense and thick. Yeah. But there's part of you that is like so wild, so free, that already knows I am this and I signed up for this. So what if there's a little resistance? So what if there's some falling down and I get back up and dust off my knees? At the end of the day, we just got to come back to our own tenacity, grit, and intention. Because if we look in hindsight for the times when we got resistant or we fell down, we maybe we didn't have strong enough boundaries. Maybe we weren't fully in devotion to the heart and to what really mattered. We let beliefs, we let certain vibrations, we let certain opinions kind of shroud us, put the veil back over us. But again, we don't want to put any blame on anything, not even ourselves. And just remember, okay, I see what happened there. I wasn't fully in alignment. I wasn't fully in that devotion, but now I am. Here I am now. And that's where you alter things. And this is where we have to know that this is going to constantly deepen. There's no finish line. There's none. And I can say that for myself too. Like this is constantly deepening into the unknown. And I invite you into that as well. Okay. So even remove this idea too of like, okay, there's this mass unconsciousness. Go right into there's only God. There's only love. There's only light. And for yourself, so that you can start opening up more. Because otherwise we create that duality within our narrative. Keep it as high vibe as possible. Keep it as clear and concise as possible. Does that make sense?
It does. And just one smaller question to add to that. In that case, at the moment, there's a great fear and anxiety in the world that we're heading into the darkness and things are becoming more divisive, and we see it around the world. Um, at the same time, there's an alternative narrative that this is the darkest hour before the sun comes up. Do you believe there is a shift coming that will transform that darkness into light within maybe a couple of lifetimes? Or is
I,
that I just wondered if you were believed that was happening.
I say the shifts right now.
Right. Okay.
And you got to remember the sun that never sets. You're that eternal light. So don't wait on any mass movement. You're the Christ. You're the Christ now, and you decide when you're going to resurrect that light. And the light's going to touch your world first, meaning your families, your neighbors, your immediacy of your reality, and that's how it filters out. But we got to turn off the media. We got to turn off the drama of the lower realms, because the lower realms is always going to spin a web of drama and fear because it wants you to play in fear. You understand? So notice these little narratives of fear and say, no, be gone. No, thank you. I am the light. I am awake. I am, I am, I am. Feel it, transmit it. And that's just like kind of the imagery of Jesus walking through the desert, being tempted by Satan. Are we going to listen to the media? Are we going to listen to the fear? Are we going to listen to the collective unconsciousness? Are we going to be the living light of God? Because a lot of us are in this program. I get it. We get into this program of like, we're waiting, but you're only waiting on you as the second coming. And so this is an absolute fearlessness. I mean, there's an appearance of a division in the sense of you're not playing in that stuff anymore. So if the mommy and the daddy, your friends, your neighbors are all talking about the drama, you speak up. I mean, and that's what truth does. It comes from a very loving space of like, look, no, you are powerful, my brother. You are powerful, my sister. Let's come home to ourselves. And that's just what starts to come out of you when you're really resting as the I am or Christ or the awakened light within. You're going to start treating other as self. And there's no fear anymore. There's no self-consciousness. It's just brutal love, honesty, because that's what we really need. And that's true compassion. Otherwise, we're stroking fears and we're calling that compassion. And that's not compassion, that's illusion. So I know, I get, this was raised Catholic. I get all the dogma, I get all the taboo, and I get how it can be weird to claim yourself as Christ. But I got to tell you, nothing transformed here until I laid down the identity of Anna Brown and everything that came with that. And I resurrected myself into the light of Christ and had service for the highest will. And that's something we have to align with every day. And you notice when your vibration's lowering, you notice when you're starting to take on the opinions of others and the dramas and their fears, and you say, no, I'm going to be the strongest vibration in this space. I'm going to be the beacon of all as well. And again, that's a choice we make consciously.
Hi, Anna.
Hey, love, Laura. Hi, what's up?
Hi. Um, have you ever had the experience of being crucified?
Like,
Meaning,
go ahead, tell me more.
meaning, uh, a person that is not necessarily completely aware or functioning on a lower frequency, reacting to a person that's functioning on a higher frequency and um, having
Yeah,
them basically crucify, nail you to
sure.
the cross.
Sure. I mean, I get what you're saying, where unconsciousness comes and pukes on you. I get it.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I think you've spoken to all of this with what you've been saying, but I
Mm,
just want to ask your
yeah.
what is the best way to handle that
Mhm.
and continue to come from a place of love and forgiveness and compassion? And I mean, that's the only way, right?
It is the only way, and I get it. It may happen. It's happened here many times, but here's the cool thing: when you're really resting as the I am, there's just like a natural forgiveness. You understand? They're coming from a belief. The competitiveness is like a plea for love, a plea for I
Yes.
want that connection. I want to feel that fucking love that you feel. That's what they're really, really saying. Okay.
And,
And that's what we take a pause. Maybe it's through an email, maybe it's actually face to face, but you take a pause, you breathe, you realign, you connect with awareness as best as you can, and you allow that to speak through you. And I just got to tell you, when we're aligned in the present moment, it's always going to be an integrity. It's going to be on point, and it's going to be kind, even if it has a coarseness to it, a boundary to it. And that's all I can say from firsthand. It's not going to go into violence. It's not going to go into competition. You're really going to bless them for their highest experience because they're you, they're in pain, and it's arising in your consciousness because you're the Christ. Bless them, come from the highest light, and just know you're going to feel that in your body first, and it's going to feel so good as you transmit that, and you're going to cut off like the cord of being entangled with that character. Yeah. Because now you're fearlessly stepping in, creating that peaceful boundary of love, but keeping your integrity and your high vibe. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And that's what I'm in the process of doing because the other person is unavailable to communicate. They will not
Mm-hmm.
communicate, even with someone mediating. They're just
Yeah.
set in their beliefs and opinions, and they're
Mm-hmm.
wanting to wallow in that misery. And this
Right.
is unfortunate, and it breaks my heart. Um, but I hear what you're saying, and that is what I'm that's what I'm experiencing and doing. And I just will continue. It's the cutting of the cord
Mm-hmm.
is challenging because there's so much love for this person. And yet it's like in order for me to be able to um like I feel like my side of the street is clean. I'm in integrity,
Mm-hmm.
but that cord of having so much love for this person and hating to see the misery
Yeah,
is it's hard to cut. And I'm in the
I get you.
process of doing that. So
I get you, sister. And if this is someone that's like immediately close to you, like a sibling or a beloved partner or something like that, I want you to know,
no,
or even your
it's
neighbor.
not.
Yeah,
But
you can
somebody
use.
that,
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
just someone I care about very much that knows me, but is willing to um listen to the darkness that she's living with and believing things that aren't true, because it's easier to believe that than to see what's really happening.
I get you, sister. So
So,
just know too that in your meditations, you can also envision her, imagine her stepping out of that crust, if you will. That's
yeah,
the power of our imagination as well. So use these tools, okay? But obviously, she has to have an opening for that. But we can pray through imagination, see them in joy, see them in love, see them in
yeah,
prosperity, and oh my gosh, they're meditating now. That's beautiful. So just know that telepathy is real. We're all telepathic. So
yeah,
even if we are just kind of sitting on the couch and we're mulling over a conversation with a friend, we're actually sending that envelope to them in their subconscious so that they keep acting in poor behaviors. So the best thing we can do for someone who is struggling is actually see them as Christ, see them in their highest light, and know that that's actually being sent to them too, because we're all interconnected.
excellent. Thank you for that. That's,
Yeah,
I hope
right.
that this also helps someone else too.
Mm. Believe it's done. Just believe it's done, sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever's for the highest and greatest good of all concerned. Let it be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you. Mhm.
Hello, Anna.
Hey, how are
Hello.
you? iPhone 273.
Yeah, I don't know how to change that,
It's
but
okay.
my name is Betty. So nice to be here with you today.
Oh,
I wanted to ask if I am my starting point is just starting to feel connected to my body a little bit
mhm,
more, whereas previously I couldn't even feel the feelings I was feeling and from which I was acting and creating my reality. So now I am starting to be able to feel and observe the emotions.
mhm,
And I see a lot of dysregulation, like very much nervous system dysregulation. This like fight or flight. So as if I am in constant distrust with the external and constant fight with the external, also in my relationships. Um, I of course know that it is connected to like my disconnection and distrust also in myself. But if I see this, like, because now I'm kind of stuck in this, so my nervous system is dysregulated. How do I take it from here,
mhm.
whilst not getting too entangled in this page of I'm dysregulated and being
Right,
stuck there?
right. Well, there's something that's not dysregulated, and that's
Yeah.
awareness. Yeah. So that's really cool. Your awareness is activating the I am presence. Hi there. Hey, beautiful self.
Thanks.
You're so cute. Okay. So that's why you're able to like, oh, look at that emotion. Oh, look at the body shaking. Look at the body sweating or whatever it's doing. Right. So that's the awareness that's knowing, okay, this is rising and falling in front of my presence. Now, sister, tell me this. Are you sitting down and connecting with your heart every morning? Throughout your day? Are you not just being aware, like, okay, there's
Mm.
dysregulation, but am I putting my hand on my heart? Am I taking slow, deep breaths? Am I loving myself? Are we checking off those boxes? So tell me more if you have a
Right.
meditation practice or not.
I do have a meditation practice. I should be a little bit more structured with it, meaning, for example, I meditate every time in the morning. I don't do that, but I do a lot of meditations throughout the day. So this every time I have time by myself, I'm walking, I come home. I usually take time to sit down for a bit, connect with myself, feel within, do the thing that you teach, which is, like try to become aware of what's happening and connecting to my heart. I am still m- many times I see that I am connecting to my heart space and I
Mhm.
can't.
Okay. No, I'm going to tell you one thing here, though. Your
Okay.
subconscious opens twice a day, right when you wake up in the morning and right
Right.
before you go to bed. Now, obviously, it's always listening, but when you, like, right when you wake up, it's kind of like, honey, plant the
Mm,
seed. Give
Mm,
me the C for the day. But if you just wake up and you go get your coffee and you're on your phone, like you're programming your subconscious for anxiety, rat race, you're not actually telling the
mhm,
body, we're safe. Let's feel some gratitude. So I always encourage like at least 10-15 minutes of like literally feeling the vibration of gratitude in your body and sustaining it. Because the longer you can marinate in, let's say, gratitude, it's just infiltrating the subconscious, the cells of your body, and then you're actually like eliciting and transmitting it through your body, which is going to transform the external. So this is something that actually has to be felt. Like I'm
mm.
really feeling it, not just like, well, I'm grateful and let's go on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just remember the subconscious is wide open right when you wake up and right before
Mhm,
you go to bed. That's why we hear so much about morning and evening rituals, because
mhm.
it's listening to you, the master.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's also being very radical with who you think you are. I am
Okay.
this. I am love. I am awake. My nervous
Mhm.
system is calm and clear and connected. We got to know that every word is almost like a spell.
So instead of like keep replaying or keep seeding this dysregulation, it's so bad, I'm so dysregulated. I should be
Yes.
careful with that, right?
But you're like, dude, I'm totally regulated. I
Yeah,
feel I feel
so
really
regulated.
at peace right now.
Right.
I'm aware of my breath. Oh, hello,
Yeah.
breath.
Mm. However, I have one more question. So
Yeah.
when I am, for example, in these states of dysregulation, like I descend to the body and I feel completely out of control of that. That is interesting for me because like I should be obviously in control of my body and I'm not. I don't know if that's another program of like playing helpless or something like that.
It's just disciplining the body. I mean, it's
Right.
I use all of this like exercise. If we don't put in the work to like do push-ups or squats, we're not going to build muscles. It's the same
Mm,
thing with your heart chakra or the expansion of your torus, your aura, your vibration. Every damn day we're showing up and we're putting in the reps. And that doesn't mean just okay, I
mm,
meditated for 10 minutes and then I go back unconscious. We're meditating right now.
yeah.
We're loving ourselves right now. We're
Mm,
realizing this is a dream right now.
right.
This is a hologram. And that's one thing you're waking up out of is like, this is a solid reality. This is not solid.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's also why we really go deeper into our meditations. Your body and your mind aren't going to want to go super deep because it has the program of rat race, anxiety, fear, I'm not enough. So it's going to
Mm,
perpetuate that reality. That's why you got to train it like a dog. Hey, body, we're going to sit down 15 minutes. We're going to feel that gratitude. We're going to open that heart. Maybe we'll write a little love letter to ourselves and then we'll get up, do our emailing, do whatever it is we need to do for the day. But we're going to train the body like we would train a dog. Okay?
mm,
And that's how it learns. And if we can see it that way, it makes so much more sense. Like we have to train it.
sure. So
Yeah.
that's just like a stepping stone, like the training the body is necessary to be able to become conscious.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, girl. Like it's everything.
Yeah.
If we're not training the body, you can't actually inhabit it as Christ or as spirit itself. You're just going to have
Mhm.
like this yo-yo experience of I kind of
Yeah.
feel good and then I'm pushed out again because
Oh
your
yeah.
body's not in the vibration of love. It's not in that
Mhm.
vibration of gratitude or faith. And that's something we have to train it into
Mhm.
awareness.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But I believe
Very
in you, sister.
helpful.
You're a
Thank you.
badass. Okay.
Okay. You're a
you,
badass. Thank you
you
very much.
got this. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Melody. Hi, Anna. How do you stay in your higher vibration when the body is experiencing pain or finances are pulling? I have started to speak to myself as my higher self at times and felt relief. Yeah, you're a multidimensional being. So there may be octaves of like, okay, there's some financial stuff that's going on. There's a little drama here, whatever. And that's your test. That's your initiation into a higher state of consciousness. So when the appearance comes in of like, okay, the finances or I tripped and my ankle hurts now. There's pain in the body. Okay, we don't repress that. We're just going to expand our consciousness, as spaciousness, as awareness, and hold the whole body in that. But also go right into the assumption and the belief that you are prosperous. So let's use the example of finances. If you were financially free, how would you feel? Well, you'd probably feel pretty open-hearted, pretty grateful. So we got to understand that every time the poverty comes in, that's a timeline coming in going, hey, do you want to enter the timeline of poverty? And you as awareness have a choice. I'm going to keep feeling this murkiness and this poverty and I can't do it. Or right now, I'm going to see I am prosperous. I love money and money loves me. Yeah, we seed it and we seed it right when that energetics of the timeline is coming in of poverty. No, thank you. I am prosperous. No, thank you. I am blessed. I am valuable. Okay, because everything is moving around your belief and the assumption you have of yourself. So we go directly into training the body into that open feeling. And gratitude's a really great way because a lot of people can access gratitude. And gratitude is the state of reception or receiving. So it's over and over again. When the density comes up, you override it with the gratitude and the higher vibration. And I really like to see it for all of us, 80s, 90s, and before kids here, like a VHS. Do you remember when we used to write over or record over VHSs? Be like, I don't like this, but let's just record over it. Okay, that's what we're doing with our DNA. So when it comes in like that, I don't like this video. We're going to record over it. Love, gratitude, prosperity, opulence, immediately. Okay, but we also use our time morning and evening to plant those seeds of prosperity. Use your imagination to see yourself already having the money. Smell it. Buy your organic grocery. See yourself in first person, handing the money over, feeling so elated and grateful, paying all of your bills on time and with ease and with joy. You got to put yourself into the first person. And you also got to know that the imagination is the fourth dimension. And it's really this like middle space of where you're creating. So never think imagination is woo woo. That's what we teach our kids in public school. It's creation. So that can work for money, that can work for a disease, whatever's going on in your life. Use your imagination consciously, but in first person, meaning I see the tip of my nose. I can see my hand, just like this when you look down. That's how you're seeing yourself in the imagination. Yeah. And you bring in as much textures and tones and sensations as you can in the imagination. And that compounds it more into the subconscious as well. And this is where we can also see how imagination used negatively can compound our body into disease. I'm just showing you can also use it very positively. Okay? And it's a practice. It is a muscle you harness and you practice it. Just like biceps, just like glutes, just like quads. The more you use it, the greater it builds. The easier it is to access. Let me know if you have a follow-up with that. Okay, cool. Super duper. Well, Source created the body, Jay. You. Just on a level you don't remember. Like you created everything about your avatar from the hair to the physique, everything. You just don't remember because you descended and forgot. And you also didn't have a human mind when you did it, so. And in the question of are other people real? There's no people or a person. There's I am. But that's why this turns into more of a love affair and a devotion. It's real and it's unreal. It's both simultaneously. But I have to tell you, when you're really resting as the I am or awareness, It's you meeting you. It's just this natural love affair. Mm? And of course, it's much more jubilant when both parties are aware, so to speak, and it comes together in that merger and that unity. Because in that space of presence or resting as the I am, there's not two. There's just one speaking to itself. And the creative energy that comes out of that unification is love. So, Jay, I'm you and you're me. Wow, we created this. We like talking to ourselves, don't we? Neil, yeah, it'll happen eventually. It's there. I just when that's going to pop through. But I do believe so. So, friends, notice how you feel right now as we have this little lull. No judgment. Just kind of notice your inner landscape. Hmm. Hmm. How do we feel? Keep that inner connection, the awareness. Because the cool thing about this is we're all merged right now. Seems like we're in different states and countries and on different devices. What a trick of the eye. What a trick of the eye. We're totally merged energetically. So just feel for a moment. And here in just a few, we'll go into an actual guided meditation for your heart space. Just leaving a little openness right now in case anything is conjured up as a question or a share. Okay, Melody. Mm. As you have lived from your heart, is there a natural direction from the higher self that occurs? When does your heart and higher self feel one? Now, I eliminated kind of the conversation of higher self many moons ago because to me, it always created a language and a narrative, a duality, and that I was not the highest self. that I was not Christ, that there was some kind of incompleteness in a way, which always left this like chasm of lots of work for me to do. And I don't know if that's what appears for you, but I would go ahead and just eliminate that, so to speak, and just, I'll say deeper, more expansive, because I want you to see it more like everything's now, everything's finished, everything's vibrating now, it's all complete. So it's more like you're relaxing back into an expansion. It's here now. You are that. It's more of a dilation. Okay. Now, you are the higher self. And when you start claiming that, then we won't have this kind of two-way street of like, God, talk to me. Deeper self, where's the evidence? Or, like some say there's angels or their guides, they're waiting on their guides. So notice this little narrative of waiting and go ahead and close the gap and say, I am that. I am awake. I am aware. I am ascended. I am God. I am that. And in that, that's the merger. That's the collapse. That's the as above, so below. And then you can start operating as that. But we need that confidence, because it's the lack of confidence, or we could say worth, that's making us create this dualistic game of, well, it's out here and I'm waiting on the direction. But the direction's always love. The direction's always now. The direction is always right here. Love, creativity, the highest inspiration or bliss, moment to moment, breath to breath. And that's why we kind of toss out our linear, concrete, total planning, and you're moving through feeling in the higher dimensions. So as long as you're secure in the heart space and you're aware, it's going to come through you as a pulse of inspiration, because we're going to ebb and we're going to flow in the sense of I'm going to create and get out and be really inspired, like yang energy. And then it's going to come back in like an ebb, time to integrate, time for some zen, to be more still, not as much creation, but it's going to be natural, just like your breath, right? You don't have to ask the breath. That's how unified you're going to become when you start closing the gap with thought. I am this now. I am this now. But to also close the circle, so to speak, that's just one destiny. You have infinite destiny. So let's say one destiny is, okay, I've opened up for the deeper self, the more expanded self, and I'm embodying that. Okay, now that I'm aware and awake and I'm in my heart and I'm transmitting my light, okay, now something else is going to come out of that. Maybe it's I'm painting now. Now I started a business. I wrote a book. You get what I'm saying? But step one is always getting in alignment with the heart, with awareness, and getting rid of the verbiage that creates the duality. I get there may be moments of like, okay, discernment, show me what's highest aligned here. But you need to know, like, you're just talking to your heart. You're talking to you, and it will come through. Okay, so know that mechanism will still go on, but it's you talking to you. Just right now, this is you talking to you, just in a physical, representative way. Cool. And Neil, yeah, this is being recorded, and it's going to go to YouTube in the next few days, and it's just going to stay up on YouTube. So, yeah, you won't have, I don't know if you can download it on there, maybe if you got the YouTube Red or whatever, but yeah, it's going to go on YouTube. I'm going to do one more question, guys, and then we're going to go into meditation, okay?
Hey Anna, I had a question.
Yeah.
I have been trying for the past maybe year or so, or maybe even longer, but I really want to wake up early,
Mhm.
and I just can't wake up early for some reason. Uh,
Oh.
like if I have to be up early for something, I'll wake up, it'll be fine. But if given, if there's nothing pressing, then I'll wake up at like 9, 9:30, even 10 sometimes, and I
Mm.
want to be the kind of person who wakes up at like 6:30 or so.
Hmm.
And so I'm just curious, what do you, yeah.
It's willpower. It's just the discipline to get up. And I get it. I totally get it. But you just got to ask yourself, do I want it more time for me to have my own like meditation and creation process, or do I want to sleep? Okay,
Yeah.
and this is really kind of funny as an example, right? Do I want to stay asleep? Sorry.
Yeah.
Or do I want to wake up? Oh my God. So I think you want to wake up, but you just got to remember, okay, the body's always going to want to be like, I don't want to move. Okay, body, come on. We're going. We're going to meditate. We're going to get up at 6:30, going to wake up with the sun and the roosters, and then I'm going to make you a smoothie.
Yeah.
Like compliment your body, like be super supportive, be a cheerleader to yourself. Because just like kids learn or animals, when you're positive and loving and you give them a treat afterwards, we're more likely to do it.
Mm.
So positive reinforcement with that. And just remember the body's always going to be like, no. And you gotta be like, okay, honey, no, I'm running the show now. We're gonna get up at 6:30. We're gonna meditate. We're gonna go out and do some ecstatic dance or whatever it is you got planned. And then yeah, we'll get a little treat. But honestly, you're gonna realize connecting with your heart and taking that time for yourself is the treat. You're the treat.
Yeah, I
Yep.
did for like we went to Orlando a couple of weeks back just for a vacation, and we were with our cousins and stuff, and uh that was for some reason I just felt motivated to wake up early during that trip. And every day that I was up early, I just it was nice. I had chai, I hung out with my family and uh
Yeah.
just took my time, and then I came back and instantly I was back to the old
Well,
circadian.
it's fake. You had vacation vibration going on.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
the thing that your human mind will do. Okay, I went to Florida, so now I'm excited. Now you got to realize that you can have the vacation vibration even when you're in your hometown because
yeah,
there is no Florida. Sorry. Anywhere you go is you and your consciousness, sweetheart. And that's a great awakening to realize. And that you're going to save a lot of money too, and a lot of traveling all over the world when you realize it's you everywhere you go. So don't be like the asleep humans that have to go on vacations all the time to get a high of serotonin and oxytocin and dopamine. You're going to realize now that you're the pharmacy and that just through meditation alone, you can drop those beautiful hormones and feel high on your own light. Right. And if you want to still go to Florida, go to Florida. But you got to know, honey, you're the sunshine state. Like it's you. You're the sun. Woo! Okay. So discipline yourself, sweetheart. You're the
okay.
beach. You're the
Thank you
sand.
very much.
You're the
Yeah.
palm trees. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. And we're going to extend this just a little bit longer because I have one question I want to tackle in the chat. But this is the last one. And then we're going right into meditation for the remainder. Christina. So I'm not going to read it out loud, but the synopsis of this is she's trying to understand that there's no other, right? And how her imagining of like maybe let's say a healing or trying to change how a certain character appears is infringing on their free will. Well, there's only the one I am. Okay. I've had many, many experiences with my relationships that were shitty. They were combative. They were dramatic, and I wasn't using my imagination consciously for them, but unconsciously I was. So, sister, you just got to realize that this is operating consciously or unconsciously. We're either like seeing the best for our neighbors and our friends and our brothers and sisters in the world at large, the cosmos at large, which is our body pushed out, our consciousness pushed out, or we're just kind of going back to the pre-programming dull frame. Okay, there's nothing wrong with visualizing beautiful sattva behavior out of a character. That's a blessing. That's a true prayer. Don't we want all beings to feel beautiful and blessed? But you just got to know where you're forcing and pushing. Alignment is actual creation, but alignment's also imagination. I'm seeing in my imagination beauty and love and community and compassion and my neighbor being healed, being happy, smiling, being able to pay their bills. To me, that's not infringing on free will. That's absolute blessings and grace. Because when you know it's all you, why would you not bless the best? Why would you not see the best? Why would you not visualize your romantic partner or your kids' relationships being healthy and happy and jubilant and respectful? But that's us taking the time to really see that, feel that, believe that. Mm? And I'm not the only teacher, like with non-dual scope that talks about imagination. Yogananda was a beautiful Eastern teacher who constantly talked about the power of goal setting and using your imagination for the benefit of all. But you just ask yourself, am I being greedy here? Am I being selfish? Am I trying to get something out of this character that I can get from myself? Because when we know that we're actually summoning all of the characters to support us or not support us, everything begins and ends right here in the heart, in love and faith and prosperity. So you're just awakening to what creation really is. It is imagination, it is feeling, but is it conscious? Beautiful. Now I'm going to wet my whistle and we shall meditate. And if you're already there, right on. We're just going to go even higher. Uh-oh, there we go. All right, friends. If you've done a heart meditation before, I may sound like a parrot, but we got a mixed group going on here, so I'm going to guide this. But let's begin with the eyes closed so we can reduce stimuli and close out the current matrix. And just notice, brothers and sisters, that even with your eyelids closed, there is an awareness present. There's an intelligence perceiving light amongst the darkness of the eyelids. That is the I am. And that is the timeless. Do not mix this awareness with any thought, imagining, or emotion. Just observe. And bring the attention to the breath. And we're going to consciously slow the breath down into the body and really deepen it. No rush. You are what you seek. If any mental noise comes in or pictures, detach. Be aware of awareness. Come back to breath. And now let's take the elevator downstairs into the center of the chest, right where the heart center is. And now we are going to breathe in and out of the center of the chest with full awareness. Easy does it, nice and slow. And now, friends, let's collectively conjure up the feeling of gratitude for no other reason than to feel grateful. So even if it's just a tiny little sensation or tickle of appreciation in the heart space, surrender to it. Focus. Feel. Feel it. And don't split your attention. If the mind wanders off, bring it back. Keep it in the nest of the heart. Activate the feeling of gratitude. And to help jumpstart that, feel free to say inside of yourself, I am grateful. Feel. And we're going to use our breath to really deepen and anchor into this frequency of appreciation. Stay aware. You're creating your future right now through vibration. And now I'm going to go quiet so we can really marinate in the feeling and the still point of I am. Please ignore any thoughts, emotions, sensations that want to distract you and pull you out of this simple devotion and creation. I will let you know when to open your eyes. Breathe, feel. And now, friends, if you can feel that energy in your heart space, take a moment and use your mind's eye to see it expanding out of your body and taking up space. Expand your field, expand your aura and energy. Surrounds your whole house, apartment, wherever you may be. Take up space. And knowing that our subconscious never sleeps and that it's listening to every thought and every word we speak. Inside of yourself now, repeat the words with heart-centered vigor. I am a blessing to myself and the world around me. Feel that in every cell of your body. Smile, knowing it is true and it is done. And when you're ready, fill up your lungs to the brim with love. Hold at the top for a hot second. And release whenever you want to. And when you're ready, you can blink open the human eyes. Staying connected to the heart, to gratitude, and to awareness. Just notice how you feel. And now we're done with a formal meditation. But even though we're about to close out our group session, we're still going to be meditating. We're still going to be awake in the dream. And any time it starts to get tight or confusing, that is your intelligent alarm clock to come back home to awareness and to crack open the heart space so that you can feel the love and the light that you really are. Take time for yourself, love yourself, and remember, there is only the self. I love you. I bless you. You're beautiful. And again, thank you for your contribution. And thank you to those who will watch later in the recording. Thank you for all that you do and are. Blessings upon blessings. Take care, my friends.